The gender politic game is real in the martial arts. Anytime they want to make boys be girls.
Where them kicks at? Where them hands? Where them holes? Where them throws? You know what I'm saying? Cecil.
This is why I train in martial arts. Now, on my LinkedIn page, I was looking at a video. And everybody said this is a good example of girl power, and it was in the martial arts thing. So I said, cool, I'm going to look at that. Girl power, because I have a daughter, and I train girls as well as guys. So I'm looking, and I see this kid fighting, and I'm thinking, that would be a pretty gifted girl, but kind of moves like a guy. And I looked, and they said it was a girl. Somebody said girl power. That's what girl power is. So I went along with it. I thought, yeah, fine, that's girl power. But then it turns out, no, that's not a girl. It was actually a boy. Someone put under that was a boy. Let me tell you, at first glance, if I didn't see somebody say that was a girl, I would have thought it was a boy with long hair. And that's exactly what it turned out to be, is a boy with long hair. So let me show you the clip that I'm talking about. Now, some of you probably think I want to say something bad about the young man or judge the little boy. Heck no. You may not believe it unless you know him. That's how my son was when he was that age. See, when you have daddy coaching the kid from young, that's why I say I would rather get the adults, train the adults up to black belt level, and then have the adults coach their own children. In particular, dad, because for some reason, this is what I noticed. I noticed this in the military. I noticed it a little bit when I was little, but as I spend more time in the martial arts, even in the technology field too, people that learn it from daddy, it's just something about learning it from daddy. That love, that expectation and everything, when they learn it from daddy, they are something else. Now, my parents were, split by the time I came along. So I learned from mama. And you know what I learned from mama? And I didn't even know it was a technique. I learned this. Mom hit me with this. I think I got a video where I talked about how she actually literally did a Dillman style knockout on me. It was, and I saw the knockout on one of his videos. And I know Dillman was in the DC area around that time. So I'm like, did you sneak into a George Dillman class to give me that? But I use that on people. When the instructor showed me it, I did it perfectly. How'd you pick that up? I said, that's what my mama does. But anyway, the people who do things, learn these type of skills from their parents, they're a step above the rest of us. If you can get a child from them when they can walk and you can train them up. Not that some of us who didn't come in like that. I did come in as a child, excuse me, but not like from crib up. I started as a judo toddler up. So I know that gives me an advantage over some people that may start as a teen or an adult. But when you have cradle to grave from daddy and mommy, that you got an advantage there. But now let's not get it twisted. That doesn't mean that somebody who started late can't whoop you. Because I wouldn't want to jump in there with Chuck Norris, and Chuck Norris started late, and Chuck Norris is a lot older than me, and I still wouldn't want to jump in there with Chuck Norris. I would not want to do that. I just wouldn't. But anyway, the thing that I'm talking about in terms of gender politics, people wanted to shout girl power instead of just checking to see whether that was a boy or a girl. Why can't we just be amazed at how talented the child is, period? Because boy or girl, that's amazing. But I knew, to me, he looked like it was a boy because that's how boys move. I've raised a son. I've raised a daughter. Now, I was able to I got them both from cradle to grave, but I had to let my daughter get the toddler a little bit because she was kind of like, ugh. She was a girl. I tried to rough and tumble with her. She looked at me like, what? She couldn't even talk. She would look at me like, what? Where my son would be, yeah, let's go. My daughter was, what? So I had to do stories that when I did hand puppets with her, I had to make them talk. She wouldn't just wrestle them around. So I could use that to teach her tactile awareness. So I had to get her through her brain more. Then boys just like to engage rough and tumble. And that's why that little boy moves like that. So let's not take credit away by just wanting to grab and say, yeah, girl power, girls are doing it. Show some girls who are doing it. And let me tell you, I've only visited the open circuit a few times. There are plenty of girls who are just amazing. Girls I would not want to tangle with if I was the same age as them. So we have more than enough with the girl power thing. It just seems to be the quickness to jump on the girl power thing with that video. Just I felt like that's kind of like radical feminist stuff. No, we don't need to do that. We don't need to have girl power and guy power. What we need to have is the power of the righteous over the power of the wicked. And that's a little bit harder because I can't look at you and tell if you're righteous or not. I can't look at you and tell if you're wicked or not. I can't assume because you share my race or because you share my gender or you share my nationality or we speak the same language or you share my religion or you come from where I come from or you're my age or anything that I have in common with you. I can't use that to predict that you are righteous. You could be wicked. And I won't know. I have to observe you to see how you act. And then I know. See, to me, that's the real war, the war of good versus evil. So, am I blowing up this video proportion? Yeah and no. Because let me tell you something else. I got a story about everything. That also reminded me of the time. Oh, what year was that? I want to say it was 2010. And we went to an open circuit tournament. One of the few times we've been to a tournament. We go to an open circuit tournament, and I had a really shy 6-year-old girl. I guess I can say her first name, Little Tiffany, because she's not 6 anymore. She was real shy. And I worked with her and I coached her to get out of her shell and to go with me. And we were going to do a student teacher forum. It was her mother's idea. Maybe you should do it, Mr. Washington, if you do the student teacher forum with her. So I said, okay, fine. Excuse me. So we did the student teacher forum. I think we both did Chanji together, right? We're supposed to be student teacher, okay? Girls. The instructor could be a guy or a girl, but they're judging the student. Okay? You know what somebody did? They took their boy, let him grow his hair long, had him wear his hair long, and put him in against my girl. I didn't know they did that till after. But you know what she kept saying? She kept saying, Mr. Cecil, that's a boy. That's a boy. She was real loud too. That's a boy. And I thought she was tripping. I said, you know what? Don't worry about if it's a boy. We're going to do our best, even if they're cheating, right? In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, no, that's not a boy. But I found out that was a boy because she kept saying, she kept looking at him. So I asked because I'm like that. Is that a boy? You got the first place trophy, and it should have went to my kid who got second place because she was actually competing against the rest of the girls. Is that a boy? Yeah, that's our son. There you go. That's our son. And kind of cower and collapse. And if you're watching this, I don't care. I don't know your name, so I can't ruin your reputation because I don't know your name. If I knew your name, I would still withhold the name because I wouldn't want to ruin your reputation. But you know what you did was wrong. Come on, man. Why can't you let my little girl student have the first place trophy that she won fairly and squarely? And by the time the judges realized it was over, they were long gone, they'd been gone, so there was nothing they could do. She still got a trophy, though. Maybe they went back and changed it in their records. But she should have been competing against that. It was 3 people in that division at that age doing the student-teacher forums. She should have just been competing with that other girl if it was just her and that other girl. And because the way I trained her, I knew it was like if she's competing against a girl, she's going to have it. But see, when you have a guy and a girl, it's even little boys. Little boys, on average, definitely not always, but on average, they're going to have better body control and better athleticism than females. That's why we don't let men compete against women in combat sports or in sports. This does not translate over at all to intellectual ability, because I have met plenty of smart women. So don't think I'm going there. But realistically, just straight up biology, the boys are going to have an advantage over the girls. It does even start showing a little bit when they're pre-puberty. That being said, I still like to have boys and girls work out together. I don't separate them. One, I don't have the numbers. But two, I want women to know how to deal with male strength. Okay? I want them to know that, feel that, and know how they can handle it or know that they can't handle it and govern their defense appropriately. I also, because of the way people act these days, I want my guys to not be too averse to having to restrain a woman or realize that they might have to defend themselves against a woman. And that takes a lot of conditioning to override, okay? Because I even have been hit in, when I was a teenager, I can say it, my sister hit me in the head with a shoe when I was laying on the couch. She knows she did it. Okay, this ain't no secret. She knows she did it. She probably, if she's watching this video, she probably laughing right now. Okay, she hit me in the head with a shoe and I had to do an up block and side kick her while I was laying down to get her off me. All right, so you would think that somebody who had to do that would not have an aversion to fighting a woman, and you would be wrong, because when I went back as an adult, the first place I went to was Okinawan Karate School with Renshi Welsh. He put me in there against a female white belt, and I could not hit her. I couldn't do it. I couldn't hit her. I couldn't hit her. And I was like, how did you know that? He said, you seem like the type that probably have a hard time fighting something against a woman. So guess what? These days, you might have to fight a woman, and you need to be able to do it right. Not that he wanted me to go, and knock her out. But, you know, that's why I say, and I'm going to close, this video is getting kind of long. That's why I say, in a way, the way of the rec center player, if there is such a thing, or just a non-combatant, a non-competitor. That would be a good judo term. But the regular everyday martial artist is kind of harder than competing. To me, it's harder mentally because we have to be able to do whatever comes up. Whereas if you're a competitor and you're sticking to the rule set, it's still taxing, but you do have the parameters of the rules. Being a competitor, to me, is definitely the highest level of physical demands that a lot of us just aren't gifted enough to reach. And the thing is, though, I'm really not poo-pooing on competitors, because once they're no longer competitors, they have to go to be like the rest of us and figure out what they can take from the ring and use in regular life in problem-solving situations. And that's one thing I like about this channel, is by me analyzing news stories and blogging and just giving my thoughts and stuff, it's really using the martial arts as a tool towards problem solving, a tool towards resolution of violence. Because after all, are we martial artists, or are we really peaceful artists? For blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Should I say, hopefully, we can be called the children of God. So, thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this with people like to talk about the martial arts. And if you know what channel that little boy's on, go watch it, because that child is awesome. I'm going to put a link in the description below to his channel. Peace.